Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. Today, we've got one of my best friends who has been a very close friend of mine since I was 16. I've just seen she's joined, so I'm going to bring her in. Hello,
Hello.
gorgeous one. Oh, wait, is that a glass of wine you just put down?
It is. It's sunny. It's
Oh,
hot. We need some rosé.
oh my word.
Where's yours?
I mean, we should have discussed this because then I would have brought mine. Damn it. So Steph is so punctual. You missed your big grand intro I was going to give you, Steph. So should I just make your head a bit bigger and like let everyone know how incredible you are right now?
Oh dear. Okay, go on.
Okay. So like I said, Steph and I have known each other since we were 16, a very long time. And she is such a badass, a true inspiration, and a massive support. She is like such a high achiever. Anything she sets her goals to, she achieves. Actually, there is no limit because like the sky is the limit, space is the limit. So Steph, without further ado, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I mean that was a good enough introduction, I think, from Marina. But yeah, I'm Steph Desmond, mum to two kids, angel investor, advisor of LBD, artist, and also golf enthusiast. That's me in a nutshell.
And let's go back to what you were before. And am I right saying that you were one of the first three employees of Uber UK and like one of
Yeah.
the first 30 globally?
Well, I was like number 96 globally, but yeah, close. Very close.
Close, close. Anyways, first three UK. So Steph, like, okay, we're going to talk about Uber first, and then we'll go into parenthood, angel investing. So with Uber, how did you find out about it? Did you know about Uber before you joined?
No, I had absolutely no idea about Uber. So would have been back in 2012. So a long time ago before there were any kind of car apps or anything, even any most apps in general. So yeah, I had basically been, I guess, in finance before and was just launching a little fashion label of mine. And then a very good friend of mine suddenly rang me up out of the blue and said, "Hey, I've got the dream role for you. Is it something you'd be interested in?" And he started describing it. And I remember the first thing I said was, "What? Why would I be interested in working for a minicab van? Like, do you understand like who I am or what? Like, what? I don't understand why you think we'd be a good fit." Anyway, he was like, "No, just take a second, think about it. It's in LA and New York at the moment. It's the coolest thing. It's going to make its way over here. You should get involved. You'd be really good for building the brand, all that sort of stuff." So I met with them. I spoke to him on the Monday. I met with him with them on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday I started work at Uber. So that was how quick it was.
Wow. Well, they must have seen how much of a catch you were. They needed to like hit hard fast.
I
And so what did
think
you
it was
do at
about
Uber?
right time, right place, right time, more so. But, you know.
And what was your role there?
So yeah, so I basically was one of the first three employees. So I was the marketing manager, and then we also had driver ops and we had a GM. So that was how we launched. So for the first year, I basically did all the marketing for Uber London. At this stage, by the way, Uber was basically in Paris, and we were just launching in London. Apart from that, was in America. So we were the second international city. So we kind of, we just basically ran with it, and I ran the team for about, I'd say it was about a year before I started expanding and hiring people around me.
Because I remember you were like answering emails like 2 a.m. from customers.
Yes, I was. Yeah. So
The
I used to
startup
wear,
grind.
yeah, I wore like so many different hats. So it was literally like, rider kind of growth side of things, but also CRM, legal, even found myself like photoshopping things, doing all the design stuff. I was also like yeah, I used to just reply to every single negative ticket we would get through. So I was literally surgically attached to my laptop from about 8 in the morning to one in the evening, 1 a.m. To the point that my now husband thought that Uber was a massive cult. And he was just like, "I have lost you to this really bizarre cult, but okay." I think our
And every time
relationship
was
was
you an Uber,
one
you
of
would
the
like,
only
I really
relationships
enjoyed
which
it.
survived.
Yeah. And was that whenever he was an Uber with you, was like, I love the experience, but I just don't want to admit to it.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So what was, okay, so when you, the first year, so the typical life was very like all around the base. And like, let's say, because how long were you working at Uber for?
I was there for 6 years. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you must, and then so in that 6 years, how big did it grow?
God, it changed. It changed so much. So in the early days when I first launched it, as I said, I was 96 internationally. So I think now the company's got over 15,000 people working for it. So, you know, I was there from day dot. So in the beginning, it was like proper startup life. It was basically just, you had to be incredibly flexible. You were fast paced. You had to do what it take. It was all about growth, 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 growth at all costs, which actually was quite literal about 5 years later. So yeah, we it was very different in the first couple of years to the latter part. It became a lot more corporate towards the end, which is one of the reasons why I left.
And I love how you brought up the growth, growth, growth. Let's discuss how you did grow Uber so quickly and so fantastically and beat the competition, because I remember there was the likes of Halo and Kahu at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how did you beat the competition? Like, what was your strategy on that?
Okay, I guess if you strip it down, it was really all about our technology first and foremost, and then hiring smart people. So any hustlers on the ground. We were fast, we were furious. We didn't set out to be perfect. We just wanted to get it done. We kept our team small. We needed literally like 3 people to launch a city with, and so we could scale up quickly. It meant we were super nimble. Also, you know, back in the day, every city was autonomous, so we could run our own campaigns how we wanted, and then we would basically just share globally what worked and what didn't work. And so we were all, every single city was working together and learning from each other, which meant we could be super agile and just get on with it. Also, loads of analysis. We learned super quickly so we could implement strategies, put process into place. And I'd say, obviously, the tech side of things is super important. We knew we had an amazing product. So at the end of the day, it was super easy to sell. We just needed to get someone in a car once, and then we knew they'd be hooked as long as they had a good experience. And yeah, that's how we did it.
And do you have like one campaign in particular which was your favorite?
I mean, I'd say all the on-demand stunts were the most fun. Like, they never really had much traction, to be honest. It was more just like making a bit of a kind of song and dance. I remember still, I think a couple of years into it, like just going in an ice cream van and delivering ice creams to everyone. Like, I was the one actually like you know, doing the Mr. Whippy ice creams and things. So that's kind of, I remember those kind of stunts like back in the early days were a lot more fun and exciting for me than kind of later on, even though they didn't necessarily get that much traction.
Yeah, the medical the events of, I know exactly, because we're doing those with LBD. And it's actually great because then you can have like a one-on-one conversation with your potential customers, and it's have a connection.
Yeah.
So what would you say was your most valuable lesson from working at Uber?
God, I mean, there were so many. I'd say kind of from a startup kind of viewpoint, customer service is probably the most valuable thing that you have. So, you know, even if someone has a bad experience, then you can always turn it around just by being very hands-on. And that's something that Uber really did from day one. That's why I was the one answering every single negative email which came through, and hopefully getting them back into the cars. Also, another takeaway was basically the culture. So just making sure you've got kind of guidelines from the start to the finish, which is something we didn't do so well at Uber. So we were left kind of like grappling by the end of it, by the end of my time there anyway.
Well, that's an amazing answer. And then in terms of anyone that wants to work in a startup, what would be your advice?
Okay, what would be my advice? So startup life is very different to working in corporate. So just a bit about my background. Before I was at Uber, I was also at UBS Wealth Management and Finance, and then also a sales trader at Mint. So, you know, entirely different kind of working backgrounds. I'd say startup is the one where you really have to be a hustler. You know, it requires a specific type of individual, someone who's flexible, hungry, proactive, literally willing to put 110% in. You've got to be prepared to work outside the scope of what your job role is, because you're going to be having so many different types of jobs. It's not just going to be one type. You also want to put the hours in to make it happen, and be adaptable. I'd say your salary is going to take a massive cut. That's part and parcel with startup life. If it's something you truly believe in, and you know you can add value to it, then I would just, you know, you're going to be the type of individual to jump in head first and work it out later. You know, it's a very bumpy ride. It's not the place to be if you want to do a 9 to 5.
Totally feel you on that, Stephanie. And again, what an incredible answer. And like, let's now move to your life now as a mother,
yes.
angel investor, tech advisor to a number of businesses, not just mine. She's in such high demand that that she's having to like say no to a ton of people, and especially with her art. She's the most amazing artist too. So what's your art? Which account is all your paint your drawings on, Steph?
So Steph Desmond Art at
Definitely
Steph Desmond Art.
that.
Yeah,
I'm going to tag it because it's incredible. It actually looks like it's an actual photograph. It's absolutely insane. I mean, the thing is, this girl is a total like badass. She's good at everything. There's not one thing I can say that's bad. But anyways, going on to motherhood, which you are, can I just say, the most incredible mother, and she has the most beautiful children. So how do you like cope with all of this, because you're juggling so many things? And
I mean, I don't know if you can hear, but I've got visitors coming in for a barbecue, my kids are shouting out there, so it's literally just like fingers crossed, hope for the best. It's all going to work out. No, you've got to be just, I guess, good at kind of multitasking. And, you know, I guess being a mum, my family life is very much, it takes priority to everything else that I do. At the same time, though, I do think it's super important you keep your own identity. And that is why, since I left Uber and since I became a mum, I still want to be doing other things. I've got my art, which is a really nice hobby to have. But then I also just love startup life so much and learned so much about myself during that period that I think there's a lot I can give to people like LBD. And that's why, you know, I'm also doing a little bit of this at the same time. I think, basically just want to channel everything to help people and do what I can.
And like Steph said, like when she does help, like literally an hour of her time is probably getting someone else for a week. So it is really valuable. I'm really trying to keep up for 4 hours a week now. It really does. Like her intellectual capital like is unbeaten. And let's go on to LBD, because you are one of our like, you know, prime users, and like I love looking at Steph's wardrobe, and I can't wait to stop borrowing because I don't have a summer wardrobe here. So Steph, let's talk about it. Like how is LBD like useful to you?
Okay, I guess like the most obvious thing is just being able to see and organize my entire wardrobe through my app. So I don't actually need to physically be at home or physically be rifling through everything. I've got it all. It's very organized. It's easy to kind of search through. I can work out what events I've got coming up and what outfits I'd like to wear. So, you know, I always kind of know in advance what clothes I'm going to have. Also, like looking into other people's lookbooks, digging for I guess style inspo, especially Marina's. She's got a good lookbook if anyone wants to dive in there. And there's a few features which are coming. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say because I don't know.
Oh no, you're allowed to, because it's coming next week. It's next Tuesday.
Exciting!
Yeah, so we could talk about it.
Yeah, so I mean, like just knowing that, say Marina and I are going to a wedding or something, being able to kind of see what each other are going to be wearing to that is going to be like hugely important, rather than just having to like there's always a generic WhatsApp group which everyone's in asking each other what everyone's going to be wearing to something. Now with LBD, obviously you can just go into that and see what outfits, and you can also just socially engage with people, say whether you like an outfit or if you hate it, like definitely wear that gets my thumbs up, or no, absolutely not, don't be wearing that. So yeah, I think it's got some really fun features which are coming up, which I'm excited to see when they launch.
Excited. And also, what's also great is if we had a wedding lookbook together, and Steph does not like what I've paired my dress with, she can then go into my wardrobe and put some shoes that she does like matching.
Exactly. Yeah, so exactly. So I upstyle Marina.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. I'm like literally all I'm doing during Startup World is wearing black. Like I'm doing the Steve Jobs situation. So I'm creatively only thinking about LBD and the creative process. So I don't or when I'm gonna be out of lockdown, I'm just gonna be in like every multicolor there is. And I'm definitely gonna be worried that that retro fret like multicolor dress that you have.
Yes, the rainbow dress.
Got my eye on that. And then Steph, to our last question.
Yeah.
What is your one LBD tip for the LBD community?
Oh, are we talking about fashion? What are we talking about here?
Well, like storage, fashion, like I mean, we can go all over because I'm sure knowing you've got them all in different like categories. So I'm happy to do that too.
You know what? I'll say, like, I guess something which I guess what I live by is basically wardrobe staples are key. So if there's something you like the look of, it's in lots of different colors, buy in every single different color. It doesn't have to just be about expensive like designer clothing. Like I can quite happily wear a wardrobe staple, but then I'll dress it up with either like a handbag, a pair of shoes, or diamond earrings or something. That's my takeaway.
Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us for LBD Daily. Like I had to book Steph a month in advance. This lady is so busy. Have the best
Drinking wine.
I'm about to go help myself too. Now you make me feel better about it. But Steph, thank you so much. Like I said, you're a total inspiration and we love everything you do for LBD. You are such a massive help, massive support. And we're so excited to go on this journey with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sorry, Adora, that's it. That's all I've got time for.
She's a mom. Oh, okay, Dora, you can ask one question, but it has to be LBD related. Yes, Adora, we're waiting. I mean, I think she's now trying to prank us. Okay, Adora, if you don't respond, we're Ubering out. Okay, love you, and Steph, love you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.